Put it on your plate, Gia.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Did you show everybody? Okay.
Try this.
Everybody is a mad scientist and life is their lab. We're all trying to experiment, to find a way to live, to solve problems, to fend off madness and chaos. When one has bipolar disorder, it sometimes takes a broadsword and a shield to fight the madness off. Bipolar disorder is defined by the Mental Institution of Mental Health as a brain disorder that causes unusual shifts in mood, energy, activity levels, and the ability to carry out day-to-day tasks. This disorder is sometimes referred to as manic depressive disorder. This is because the symptoms of the disease are severe mood swings from euphoria, severe depression, and everything in between. It was not recognized as a disease and named until the year of 1913. Because of this, there is still much that is not known about the disorder. Throughout the life of bipolar disorder, there have been many myths, some of which are still widely circulated by the general public. These myths can make it hard for one coping with this disease to manage with their life. Because bipolar disorder cannot be definitively diagnosed, and there is no such cure, most people struggle with this disease for years before they ever see moderate improvement. Imagine for a moment you're sitting in your doctor's office, a man or a woman who has had years of education, numerous plaques and different type of certification on his walls, and he's telling you that they're not sure what is wrong with you. This is the reality that people with bipolar face for years, even a lifetime. There is no test that can definitively say yes or no, like there are for leukemia, diabetes, or HIV. Yet this disease is just as deadly. Here are some numbers to consider in this. Each year, 5.7 million Americans are affected by this disorder. Each year. 1.3% of deaths each year are from a suicide, and nearly one suicide in every 17 minutes. And 90% of those suicides are rooted from a mental illness such as bipolar disorder or depression. How scary is it that a disease that can take the life of so many can still not be definitively diagnosed? This is because the science that's regarding the human brain is so new. We know less about the human brain than we do about our own solar system. With a mental health professional is diagnosing a person, they look for certain symptoms that relate to bipolar disorder, such as extreme changes in energy, activity, sleep, or behavior, talking very fast, jumping from one idea to the next, having racing thoughts, being easily distracted or restless, or having an unrealistic beliefs in one's abilities. These are the symptoms of mania, but on the flip side, there is another mood episode, which is depression, which are long periods of feeling worried or empty, loss of interest in activities, changing in eating, sleeping, or other habits, and even thoughts or actual attempts of suicide. After a doctor has a list, they must look at the person's mental and physical health history as well as their family's mental health history. All this is important in diagnosing someone correctly. Because bipolar disorder can be confused with other mental illnesses such as ADHD, schizophrenia, PTSD, and many more, it is still a disorder that is shrouded in mystery. And like any mystery, there are a lot of false truths surrounding it. Myths about bipolar disorder that are circulated as truths can cause someone that has the actual disorder to be judged and thus hinder their treatment. One of the most common myths of bipolar disorder is that people with it are either manic or depressive. This is not true. People will have episodes, and then they also have times of stability. This treatment is supposed to help maintain their stability for long periods of time. Another myth is that all one needs to recover is medication. In order for someone to successfully go through treatment, they must not only take medication, but go through types of therapy. A lot of people like to think that people's behaviors and actions stem solely from their disease, and at times this may be true. But treating a person as if they are just their disease can be hurtful and also set them further back in getting help. How much would you appreciate it if you had dyslexia and all you heard on a daily basis is, well, they're not good at school and that's because they have dyslexia, or she has dyslexia, that makes her bad with letters, but she's a good artist. A person's accomplishments should be counted as their own and should be recognized as such. There's a wide variety of treatment for bipolar disorder. Currently, antidepressants are widely prescribed, though more recently, research has leaned towards as this being a bad idea and other sorts of treatment being sought. Some reasons given for this is because they can cause someone to go through manic cycles much more rapidly than they normally would. Also, antidepressants rely greatly on your body's chemical composition. It could take years to find a medication that balances you, and in the meantime, your symptoms could get extremely worse. There are other more conventional methods in dealing with your symptoms. And and bipolar disorder. This includes a variety of behavior therapy, talk therapy, as well as changing your lifestyle and cognitive therapy. It involves great lifestyle changes such as abstaining solely from alcohol, learning to recognize your triggers, which are things that could launch you into manic or depressive states, to avoid them, and exercise, as well as many other treatments that have been experimented and used. Though types of treatment vary from person to person, lifestyle to lifestyle, the overwhelming opinion by anyone licensed in mental health is that if a person is going to cope with bipolar disorder, they need to have some type of treatment plan in place. Or as Patty Duke once said, my recovery from manic depression has not been an evolution, but not a sudden miracle. Whether it is treatment methods, symptoms, or simply general information about bipolar disorder, there is still much to learn and so much to be discovered. Each episode of this disease is a new journey, an evolution. Sometimes it's a scary journey, the not knowing, the uncertainty, and the confusion. Sometimes it's a hard journey, the prejudice seen by others, the negativity one can be branded with. And sometimes the journey can be a relief when one does finally find treatment that works for them, be it medication or therapy or some form of relief. When the journey comes to an end, it can be happy or sad, but equipped with the tools and the knowledge and the technology, each person suffering can have a fighting chance.
Oh, that.